You are listening to Wilhelm, a film-centric podcast for film lovers of all kinds. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Wilhelm. I am your host, Ben Beck, and this is the premiere episode of the show where we talk movies, movie themes, film franchise discussions, movie deep dives. We just talk film. And we're starting big on this first episode, diving into what we feel are some of the top most essential films every cinephile, movie lover should see. But I need a guest to help me do that, and I couldn't think of anybody better to bring in for a first co-host with this. He's my friend. He's a fellow podcaster. He is Jason Cabassi.
I'm so honored that you asked me to do this. This is really cool. And I think this is a great idea. And I know you have some amazing topics planned out, like maybe 75 or 80 or more.
I think it's more than that.
They're all exciting. And so this is, really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're both veteran podcasters. We've both been podcasting for a long time. So it made sense for me to bring in somebody who has done this before. Not to mention the fact, we've become pretty, I'd like to think we've become pretty good friends over the past couple of years since we met.
Absolutely. Yep.
And we have a lot of the same tastes and a lot of things like,
but some
gaming.
different though. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons. I mean, and this is a pretty daunting topic to take on for the first episode.
Yes, it is. And I have a few caveats, by the way, on my list.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Cause I definitely have, I think I have more honorable mentions than my top five.
Yeah, absolutely. Five. I mean, I feel like essential films that people are so different and tastes are so different that I don't know if you could pick 5 movies that everyone would like, but I picked ones that I feel like if I find out the person I'm talking to hasn't seen it, I just like, no, you really got to see this,
yeah,
like that. Also, I wanted to vary my list. So there's one in particular that I left off that's really dear to my heart, but I felt like it was a little too similar to one of the other ones. So these are 5 essential films for sure. I don't know if they're my top 5 may change from day to day, but yeah, these are 5 films that I feel like are really essential.
Yeah, and that's how I approached the list too. Is basically, you have those movies where somebody's like, "Oh, I've never seen Dumb and Dumber." Really? Okay, you've never it's worth watching. Like, but my top list is
that's number 1 on my list, by the way.
No, okay, well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it could have been like Debbie Does Dallas, and I would have
right. Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust. I feel like somehow I have to fit that into an episode because we joke about that so much.
Don't make us watch it though.
I don't want to watch it. But no, like that's what I did too. Like the movies that are on my list are ones that where if somebody told me they had never seen it, they're the ones that would elicit the biggest reaction from me. Like the biggest amount of shock. Like, what? You've never seen this movie before? Like, resolve that tomorrow. Like, you have to do it. So, it's a daunting topic, but I feel like you and I are up to it. If you look online at like most essential movies, most of those lists are like 100 movies.
Yeah.
And we're narrowing it down to 5.
Right.
So,
and I was like, they always have the same top 5 of those, and I'm not going to name them in case any of them are on both of our lists, but I was like, I'm not even going to think about what everyone else agrees. These are what I think. You know what I mean? Because like Citizen Kane is on everybody's list. Maybe it's on yours. It's not on mine.
It's not on mine. It's not in my top 5. It's definitely an honorable mention.
It's worth seeing. Yeah. I mean, it's huge in cinema. It changed things, but I just haven't seen it since I was a kid for one thing. And
I think there's 1, maybe 2 on my list that if I mention them, people would probably be like, okay, yeah, I can see why that's an essential movie. But there's maybe 2 other ones on here that I know I've checked a couple of those lists, and 2 of them on my list didn't appear on any of them.
That's cool.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. So, but let's dive into it. Let's dive into our top 5. Before we get into it, we just have to let you know that neither Jason or myself we haven't talked about or discussed any of our choices beforehand. We didn't want to influence each other when it came to it. So I don't know any of his top 5. He doesn't know any of mine. Also, a fair warning, if you haven't seen any of these movies before, there's might be a little discussion. So there's a possibility for spoilers.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
Maybe we can avoid like any huge.
Yeah, I mean, let's not give away the ending of Sixth Sense if you haven't seen it yet. Which Sixth Sense is not on my list. So that works out. But with that being said, let's dive in. We'll kick it over to you first, Jason. Top 5. What are you starting off with, number 5?
Well, this is probably the film that most of all, if someone hasn't seen it, I feel like if you haven't seen this movie at this point, you're making a statement because everyone else has, and that's Star Wars.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if you find out someone hasn't seen that, I think they're just purposefully avoiding it. Maybe
if you haven't seen it yet, it's intentional.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe we're getting to the age where it's just people don't watch it that much anymore. But among the people that I hang out with. So I picked this because, of course, it's 1977, written and directed by George Lucas. And it just before this, movies were different. It really changed everything. It changed what the summer blockbuster was. It changed sci-fi. It's so great. I mean, before this, sci-fi was like pristine and shiny objects and melodramatic cheese ball stuff. I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it was. And this was like a lived-in world and such a fully realized world. That's what impressed me about Star Wars as a kid. I just felt transported into this other world with so many details that were so fully realized that I felt like this place really existed. And the acting is so the characters are so great, and the chemistry is so good among all these young unknowns. Even Harrison Ford wasn't well known, and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
He was a carpenter before Star Wars or something like that.
He was in American Graffiti, which may have been his first movie. I'm not sure, but that was George Lucas's big movie before this. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it still holds up. I mean, maybe it's a little slow, but otherwise, I still love watching it.
Oh, I still do too. I mean, and you talk about a story and a tale that kind of still that's still alive today. I mean, we're still getting new elements of that story being told in different forms, whether TV, it be animated, movies,
comics. And I think also that I really feel like they realized that they could make a lot of money off of big spectacles like this. Before this, it was seen as some kid's thing. George Lucas would tell his story and his colleagues would be like, okay, George, whatever. And now we have the MCU. I don't think we would have the MCU without Star Wars. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's Star Wars is such a legacy in itself that you're right. It's such an expanded universe that intermingles with itself, over the course of time, that there's a lot of similarities to the MCU that you're probably right. Without Star Wars, we wouldn't have the MCU, we wouldn't have the DCEU. Any of these shared universes that we have right now, we probably wouldn't have without Star Wars.
But even just like big blockbuster movies that have merchandising opportunities, this is the movie that made them realize they could make money off of toys. And so that just the money aspect of it influenced what kind of movies they were willing to put a lot of dollars into for special effects and like that, because they knew they could get a return off of this stuff. They didn't really know that before Star Wars, I don't think. Yeah. And so that shaped, I really think that geek culture owes everything to this movie.
Which is why I think it's kind of a shame that if you haven't seen it yet, like you said, if you haven't, you're kind of making a statement that you're intentionally not planning to watch it.
Yeah, and people who are into geek culture haven't seen this, and I'm like, well, this is kind of the seed. But I also do think that, like a lot of like Citizen Kane I mentioned before, if you saw that in its time, it would blow you away because it was so different. But then it gets imitated so much that if you haven't seen a movie like this and go back and seen it, you're like, oh, I've seen that a million times before. Well, yeah, you've seen it because it started here and everyone copied it. I think
the effect kind of gets
kind of feel. Yeah.
The effect kind of gets diluted a little bit because it's become a part of pop culture because it's become so immersive in pop culture.
But I saw it in the theater when I was 6 years old, and I was so blown away by it.
Yeah, see, Star Wars came out like about a year or two before my time. I was born in 79. Star Wars was 77. So Star Wars has literally been a part of my entire life. And it's been so immersed in my life for so long that I can't even tell you the first time I ever saw it because I don't remember.
You honestly always had seen it. It feels like,
yeah, it feels like it was the first thing that was shown to me when I came out of the womb. It was like, oh,
the doctor's
welcome to the world. Here's Star Wars.
The opening scroll.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
No, that's a good choice for number 5. And I had a feeling that was probably going to be in your top 5.
Given my desktop background here.
Yeah, exactly. People can't see it, but yeah, you have the stormtrooper falling off the ledge, which is when there is a Wilhelm scream in Star Wars. My number 5 is one of the ones I mentioned that I have not found on any list of essential movies that people should watch. I am going with 1975's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Nice.
To me, this is just such a, I mean, it's British humor, and British humor is definitely not for everybody. I know people who have tried Monty Python and just can't get into it because it can be at times it's very witty and silly. Other times it's very dry. It's a mix of everything. And Monty Python kind of falls in between both of them. There are moments that are silly, there are moments that are dry, but there's so much brilliance to me written into this movie. Prime example, using coconuts for horses.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
And if you watch any documentary, any story or any story about the making of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, you know that was made purely for budgetary purposes.
Yeah.
But it worked.
It's better than if they'd had horses.
Exactly. It became synonymous for that movie. I mean, you see somebody clanging 2 coconuts together. If you've seen Monty Python, it's the first thing you think of is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
My favorite is the knight that gets all his arms and
the Black Knight
chopped off. It's just a scratch.
It's just a flesh wound. What are you gonna do? Bleed on me? Yeah, there's so many.
I love that movie. The best Monty Python movie, I would say, by far. Even though they're all great.
It's a close one between Holy Grail and Life of Brian. Life of Brian is another.
It's great
Monty Python movie. And now for something completely different is basically just sketches updated. But yeah, Life of Brian is fantastic. But you're right, Monty Python is, to me, it's the quintessential Monty Python piece.
Yeah.
And
I love that show too. I used to watch the show.
I still go back and
Brilliant.
watch Flying Circus from time to time.
And some people just don't jive with it. And I kind of get it. It's a very particular kind of humor. But if you do, then you're happy watching it.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those movies that if somebody tells me they've never seen it before, I'm like, okay, do me a favor and just watch it once.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah. Because you may thank me for the rest of your life for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I love that choice too, because it's so unique to itself. You can feel the brilliance of it and the uniqueness. And I think a few of my movies are like that too, where only the people who made it could have made it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel, and one of mine that didn't make my list, and maybe it made yours, so I'm sorry if it did, but I'm going to mention it anyway, that I feel like is kind of an American, maybe not an American version.
Can I guess what it is?
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles?
No, but I love Blazing Saddles and Mel Brooks, and my favorite is Young Frankenstein, but I was going to say Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's not on my list, but
it has a silliness to it, and I love that movie. I almost had it on my list.
I adore that movie. I mean, that's one. Yeah, we're going to mention some honorable mentions as we go along. Fine. So, yeah. But Monty Python being my number 5 is just one, again, just if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, again, it's British humor. It's not for everybody. Just try it and you might like it. And like Jason said, you might thank me for the rest of your life. How about you? Number 4.
My number 4 is 1999 David Fincher Fight Club.
Good choice. I didn't even think of Fight Club.
Adapted from the Chuck Palahniuk novel. It's Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. Before this, I thought, yeah, Brad Pitt, pretty boy. He's good. He's good in Thelma and Louise, but he was brilliant in this. And Edward Norton, I always thought was brilliant, but this and Helena Bonham Carter, Jiminy Christmas. And I just think it's so, for me, I was kind of, when I first heard about this movie, I thought Fight Club. It sounds like a Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting movie, you know? Okay,
yeah, sounds like Street Fighter.
Yeah, something like that. Or Bloodsport or something. But it just blew me away right from the start. It was so visually inventive. It starts out, and even right from the opening crawl, it's inside the narrator's brain's fear centers, and then the camera comes out through his pore and down the barrel of a gun that's stuck to his mouth, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so creative, and it's edgy, and it's darkly funny, which I love. And it's you're not quite sure what's going on a lot of the time, and it's meta. Like when they talk about how they splice, Tyler, the main character Tyler, played by Brad Pitt, used to be a projectionist, and he would stick in one frame of something really disturbing into the film so that people would subconsciously get it. But then you go back and watch the film again and you realize that they've stuck Tyler Durden in a couple of frames early on, stuff like that.
Exactly what he's talking about, what he did to other people is what they're doing to you the entire time.
Yeah, and Meatloaf is in it, and it's funny and dark, and then there's a fucking twist that killed me. And even though I didn't totally know whether that twist made sense, I just loved it because I was so invested and all in on the movie at that point. Yeah. And there's one thing about it, I feel like it's some people don't like it because they feel like it's sort of, you know, toxic masculinity kind of a movie, but I feel like that's misunderstood, and that it's actually they kind of fail at what they're trying to do, and I think it's kind of against toxic masculinity. But you could have a debate about it. It's really thought-provoking too, which is another thing I really like about it. It's entertaining, but it's also thought-provoking.
Yeah. Fight Club's one of those movies that I love as well. And it's one of those ones, like you said, the twist at the end, which we won't spoil for anybody who hasn't seen it, was one that I did not see coming, just like many other people who saw it. But it's also one of those movies that, like, I know some people, when they have a movie that they absolutely love, they have no problem watching it every opportunity they get. Fight Club is one of those movies that I like to preserve. So I'll watch it sparingly. Like, you know, if I'm in the mood to watch something, I won't go like, oh, let me watch Fight Club because I've seen it 100 times. I've only seen Fight Club maybe a handful of times. Because
you want to keep the impact of it, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like with a reason, like I got tired of, this is a weird tangent to go on, but like one of the reasons why I got tired of A Christmas Story as an essential Christmas movie,
because you saw it like 125 times.
Well, and it's because like networks like TNT play it for 24 hours straight. And there are some families that will keep it on the entire time. It's like, well, you're kind of taking away the magic of the movie by doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's funny. Yeah. That movie actually almost had the reverse for me. I saw it. I think I probably saw it when it came out in the 80s. And I was like, yeah, that's all right. And then I didn't think about it. But then it became this cult classic that was on, like you say, marathons. And everybody seemed to love it. And so I'm like, okay, I'll watch it again. Actually, that's pretty good. And then it came on again. And the more I saw it, the more I'm like, all right, this is a great movie. You're right.
Well, see,
but I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah. In fact, I hadn't seen Fight Club in a long time, even though it was one of my favorites, because these days as a grown up, as an adult, I don't tend to watch the same movie over and over again like I did when I was a kid, more just probably because I have kids and I'm busy and everything. But anyway, I podcasted about it recently and I was like, I hope this holds up, because I hadn't seen it in like 10 or 15 years, and it totally did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe that's what I do too, is I kind of go back and I'm like, maybe that's what, like, I'll wait a particular amount of time before I watch it because I'm trying to check in my head if the movie still holds up to what I remember it being.
Yeah. There's some movies that I still adore from when I was a kid that I haven't gone back, and I'm almost scared to, because they might not hold up.
I have a movie in my top 5 that I haven't seen in probably about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I know from the number of times I've seen it, it deserves to be on this list.
Cool.
So, yeah, cool. Good choice for number 4. My number 4 is a more recent film. Mine is Baby Driver from 2017.
Nice. Love it. That's in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, directed by Edgar Wright. This movie to me it's a clinic in filmmaking. Especially when it comes to making the sound and the music a character itself in the movie.
Mm-hmm. It feels like the whole movie's a song, almost like it's all in tempo.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, oftentimes I tell a lot of people when they ask me like, what should I expect when I watch this? I'm like, well, do you remember that scene from Shaun of the Dead where they're beating on the guy in the Winchester to Don't Stop Me Now by Queen? And they're like, yeah, rhythm of the music. I'm like, picture that the entire movie, because that's what it is. Everything from doors closing to knuckles pounding on a desk to gunshots. Everything is done in tempo and to the rhythm of the soundtrack. In
a way that feels cool, because it reflects on the coolness of the main character, how he does his driving. And it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention the fact too, I know I was on a podcast with you, I think last year at this point. It seems like it wasn't that long
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Where we talked about our favorite directors and such. And Edgar Wright was one that came up. Mm-hmm. And he puts on a masterclass when he directs a film.
This movie, I love like the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead. This one feels like the most where you feel like every frame is paid attention to. I mean, they're all great, but yeah, it just feels the most tightly put together, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and when you look at the Cornetto trilogy, they're kind of pop culture-esque, zombies to action film and aliens, with The World's End. Scott Pilgrim is basically a video game come to life. Baby Driver is that one that kind of feels like it's out of place amongst his other films. But when you watch it, you definitely see his style still a part of it.
Yeah, in a podcast that we're doing here about essential films, that feels like the one to pick. And I would have picked that one too out of all his, even though I love them all.
Yeah. So, I mean, but again, that's one of those ones. It's become a little rougher to watch, but not because of anything the movie did, but because of one of the people that's in the movie, namely Kevin Spacey, entitled in a little controversy. And sometimes, depending on the controversy, it can make anything that actor has done difficult to watch and enjoy. But I'm able to put it past it to watch Baby Driver.
I mean, for the longest time, it still is one of my favorites, was American Beauty, but it's ruined now.
Yeah.
Because that's Kevin Spacey. And plus you go back on it and it's like, wow, that's way more problematic.
American Beauty, especially. Yeah,
but I still appreciate it.
But luckily, I mean, when it comes to Baby Driver, Kevin Spacey's not as big of a part of the movie as anybody else. So he's a secondary character. It's kind of easy to get past. Mm-hmm. So number 3 from you.
Number 3 is another one that one of my favorite directors, I had to pick from their whole oeuvre, but it wasn't hard because it's Fargo. And Fargo is one of my favorite movies of all time. Came out in 96, written and directed by the Coen brothers, Joel and Ethan Coen. And it's really interesting because it's all this, it's a snowy landscape. The whole thing is like, the whole movie's just whiteness with like one figure in the middle, and it's also kind of slow paced. And so you'd think maybe it would be boring or no good, but they just know how, for me anyway, to capture my attention through the whole thing. It's William H. Macy who plays Jerry Lundegaard, and Frances McDormand as Marge Gunderson, the very pregnant police chief. And her husband is John Carroll Lynch, who was Eastman on Walking Dead and Twisty the Clown. Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare play a couple of thugs that were so great together, like the Laurel and Hardy of thugs.
I love Buscemi in that movie. It's so great in that movie.
I think that might be my favorite of his. I just like the unique feel of it, the deliberate pace, and also just the William H. Macy was so good in this, and his character is such a weasel, but in a way where he got himself in way over his head, and it keeps getting worse and worse. It's almost funny. Their films are also kind of darkly funny to me, but you can sort of identify with getting in over your head, but still this guy's such a nudnik that you feel like he deserves probably everything he gets,
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. It's weird that it's a dark film, like as far as subject material and the story that's being told,
and
but
people getting put in wood chippers and stuff
people,
like that.
people being put in wood chippers. But it's one of those films too that, like, you're right, with the snow in the background, it oddly brings a brightness to the film as far as environmentally. Like, it's very bright because, anytime the sun shines on snow, it becomes very luminescent, and so it's almost like the snow itself adds this brightness and chipperness to a very dark movie.
Yeah, and Frances McDormand's character, who's just so chipper and sweet, and yet super capable and sharp, and someone you don't want to have as an enemy. She's just such a good character, and because Frances McDormand was super pregnant during the filming, they're like, okay, your character's pregnant, fine.
Yep.
So I love that. I really like the Coen brothers a lot. I think No Country for Old Men is probably my second favorite, and I like most of their movies a lot, but this one is my favorite, no question.
It's definitely up there. I almost added Raising Arizona to my top 5.
That's up there for me too.
But
I have to watch that. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while either. And I actually just listened to a podcast the other day where they were I was listening to a podcast where Ed Helms was giving like his list of the 3 movies that changed his life. And Raising Arizona was one of them. So, and I was listening to it yesterday, and I'm like, wow, I really want to go back and rewatch Raising Arizona now because of what I heard him talk about. But Fargo is definitely in my top 3 of Coen brothers, along with probably Lebowski. And you know what? I don't think it gets as much credit as it should, but Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is just...
it's so good. Yeah,
it's so good.
That's great. And that really made me appreciate what the hell is his name, the main guy? George Clooney, even more than I already did. He just knocked it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, exactly. My number 3, this is the movie I talked about before that I haven't seen in probably over a decade, but I feel like deserves to be on here. And this is one of those ones too that if you know me, you'd kind of be surprised to hear me mention this movie, because I don't think I've ever talked about this movie in any chats or anything we've done. But
Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. No, 1939, The Wizard of Oz.
Good one.
It's a movie that I think when you look at everything that happens in that movie and you look at the way it was filmed and the way it was shot and everything, in my opinion, it's a film that still holds up. It's been 80 years? If maybe not 80. No, 80 years. Yeah, almost. It's been like insane. 81, 82 years since that movie came out, and in my opinion, still holds up. It's one of those movies that if I'm ever really, really down and I need to feel good for some reason, like I don't mean like depressed or anything like that, but like if I'm sick, I'm under the weather, I'm feeling really miserable, and I just want to sit on my couch and I want to watch something to remind me of my childhood, that's my go-to, is The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I mean, they started playing this on network TV every year when I was a kid, so I watched it every single time, and it was fantastic. But I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid, so you're saying it holds up. The only reason why I'm not agreeing with you is because I haven't seen it, but I loved it as a kid. Yeah, I
mean, and that's fine, but
I'd like to watch it again. Yeah,
like I said, I haven't seen it in probably 10 to 15 years, but
it's big in the culture too. It's clearly influential.
Yeah,
we people still talk about it.
People still talk about it. I've been to conventions where I still see people cosplaying as Dorothy Gale. The
images are still in my head too. The flying monkeys and the witch melting, and
Well, and I think they're unforgettable images too. I mean, the imagery in the movie is so
The
well
Cowardly
preserved.
Lion. Yeah.
The Cowardly Lion. Put him up. Those images are so well preserved, not only in the film but in our minds, that I think it's a movie that's going to last. I don't think it's a movie that will ever be forgotten.
What's your favorite character?
I've always been a fan of the Tin Man. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He didn't have a brain.
Tin
That
Man
was
didn't have a heart.
he didn't have a heart. Yeah,
Scarecrow didn't have a brain.
He totally had a heart. Come on.
So yeah, I mean, and it's when you look at, like, I don't like to compare like ratings or anything like that, but when you look at like Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, it's almost a perfectly rated movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think rightfully so.
Makes sense, yeah.
I think it deserved to be in my list of top 5.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree, and I think if someone hadn't seen that, I would tell them to go see it for sure. And I feel like all the movies on my list, for me anyway, are near perfect too.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned they had perfect ratings. For me, they are.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at my list, and yeah, I definitely feel like they're all probably pretty high rated. Yeah, Holy Grail, I'm pretty sure, is pretty high rated. I'm not going to question that one. So
anybody who doesn't rate it high just doesn't know where it's at.
Shouldn't be a critic. They just shouldn't be a critic. I'll send it back over to you.
Number 2.
Yeah.
I feel like this one might surprise you. It's The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit. I'm not too surprised because I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I mean, John Hughes, for me, I was a senior in high school in '89. So that was like peak John Hughes time when he was doing these Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, and The Breakfast Club here.
Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, yeah.
Ferris Bueller's my favorite John Hughes movie, but I feel like The Breakfast Club is more essential. It's the John Hughes movie, I feel like, at least for the high school type movies that he made.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you look at the cast of characters as well, I mean, Ferris Bueller is fun.
Exactly.
You have a guy who's skipping school. He's doing all these things that everybody wishes they could do, but they never get the opportunity. Whereas The Breakfast Club, every one of these characters is relatable to either yourself or somebody that you know.
Yep. And I was, of course, Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, I was too. I absolutely was Anthony Michael Hall.
And of all these movies, Breakfast Club is the only one I went back and rewatched because I hadn't seen it in so long, and I wanted to make sure it deserved to be on the list, and it does. And I was sad only to see that. Okay, the characters are. The cast is Anthony Michael Hall as Brian, who's the brain, Emilio Estevez, who's Andrew, the athlete, Ali Sheedy is Allison, the basket case, quote unquote, Molly Ringwald is Claire, the princess, and Judd Nelson is John Bender, the criminal. And the only thing there's a couple of jokes that don't age so well, but mostly it holds up extremely well. And one thing I was sad about, though, that I had forgotten is at the end, Ali Sheedy and Emilio Estevez end up hooking up, and Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson, and Anthony Michael Hall is left by himself to write the essay for everyone else.
Exactly.
I'm like, fuck you guys.
he's the one that ends up writing it's like, okay, all these other people got
it's not
something
much of an
good
essay,
out
to
of
be
this.
fair. It's just like 2 paragraphs, but
still, like, even at some point in the movie, I think towards the end of the movie, like, Molly Ringwald's character says to Brian, like, well, we trust you. Like, come on, like, you're making the nerd do the work.
You're manipulating, but he says that too. He knows. But so I love this movie because it's so evocative of the 80s. He really captured what it's like to be a teenager, and the cast is great, and they were like the superstars of the day. And also, it all takes place in this one place, but mostly in the library, which is amazing, like 2-level library, but still, it's like a play. It's like a stage play, and it's all about these identities that I just mentioned: the brain, the criminal, the athlete. How kids go off into their cliques, and then they're sort of labeled with these identities. But these kids who would never associate with each other are forced to spend time together, and they end up breaking down those walls and connecting and realizing that they're all more alike than they thought, which sounds cliched, but it's just done as perfectly well as you think. And the tone is great. It's funny, but it's also grounded enough that it moved me to watch it. You know, when they talk, it's also a lot about their problems with their parents and the pressures that they face. And they all have moments where they get to sort of reveal things about themselves, and it's moving.
Well, and at the same time, there's also the reveal, like when you talk about, like you said, the parents and everything too, you kind of realize, you know, like, yes, each of these characters fits into a different type of character, but at the same time, we're also kind of realizing by their family life and their upbringing, what kind of drove them to be that kind of a character. You know, we see,
you know, pressures we see from home.
Yeah, exactly. Like we hear Brian talking about his parents, about his grades. We hear, you know, Bender talk about like getting burned by cigarettes. Like we see what drove these people to be the characters that they are.
And one thing I appreciated watching it again just today, yesterday and today, Judd Nelson's character, John Bender, he's pretty annoying throughout. At least I found him annoying, but that's kind of the point, that he's the sort of criminal outcast guy who pokes at everybody. But you need him in this movie because otherwise they would have all just sat there quietly through their Saturday detention and not talked. And he's poking at everyone until realness comes out, you know, even if it's just in frustration with him. And he's really the catalyst, like the chaos agent that causes them all to sort of have an interesting day instead of just a boring day.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's one of those characters that he's so interesting that, I mean, as much as he tries to come off like a hard ass the entire movie, there's kind of those moments where a little bit of the heart that John Bender has underneath still shines through a little bit.
Yeah. And I think they wanted the character to have that too.
Yeah. Making himself the sacrifice when they're about to get caught in the hallways. Right. And he has those moments, and that's it shows the humanity, I think, in just about everybody.
Yeah. And he also says at one point to the asshole principal, who I didn't write the actor's name down, but he plays assholes in a lot of movies. Bender says, "Eat my shorts," and this was pre-Simpsons, so I feel like they borrowed that from Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
for Bart.
I'm sure they did. but and a lot of places have borrowed from the Breakfast Club. You know, as far as like dancing on countertops and you know, there's just a ton of places that in pop culture that have taken from Breakfast Club.
It's funny to me. There's some like I said, there's some jokes that don't age well. There's a couple of gay jokes in there, but one reverse of that is they all smoke pot, and that's kind of one of the things that helps them open up. And that was way more stigmatized back then than it is now.
Yeah, now it's a little easier to accept.
Yeah.
So no, it's a good choice. Anything John Hughes is, I think, is a good choice, and I think anything almost John Hughes is essential.
Do you have a favorite John Hughes?
Oh man, I love Breakfast Club. I think I'm with you that I like Ferris Bueller a little bit better.
I've seen it more, for sure.
I'm a big fan of Home Alone, though.
Yeah, I watched that with Nico recently. He loved it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Home Alone and Uncle Buck.
Yeah,
I like Uncle Buck.
That was Macaulay Culkin's first.
That was actually the driving force behind Home Alone.
Yeah, and he stood out in that. He was great.
The scene where Macaulay Culkin is guarding the home with the mailbox slot. That was actually one of those times that, you know, they said like, yeah, like this kid
that works. Let's build a whole movie around it.
That's pretty accurate. So cool. Yeah. So my number 2, I'm sticking with the 80s as well. A little earlier 80s. My number 2 is going back to 82, and I'm going with E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
On my honorable mentions.
Yeah, it's a movie that still to this day makes me tear up and cry. There is so much heart and emotion in this movie that I don't think I will ever be numb to it. I think anybody who is numb to it I think their heart needs to grow 3 sizes because I don't get it. I mean, when you put in Steven Spielberg as a director with music by John Williams. I mean, you have two heavyweights right there behind this film that like it's impossible for the film to fail at that point. And it's just
Steven Spielberg is, one of the top people ever in Hollywood. And for me, I think I would pick this as his best. Maybe Jaws, but probably E.T.
It was actually a toss-up between E.T. and Jaws, which one was going to end up in my top 5. Because they're both essential to me.
Yeah.
But for they're two completely different movies. So I went more with the heart over the scare factor and the tension. So, but I mean, like, there's just, again, I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Why I picked this movie is because there's so much heart, and it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it, whether it's the original version or the remastered version. So they took away their guns and their Halloween costumes. So what?
I didn't even know about that.
Oh yeah, in the remastered version, when they for their Halloween costumes, when they're taking E.T. out, I think in the original version they go as like a terrorist. And they have fake plastic guns. And in the remastered version, they changed it so that they go out as hobos.
Oh my gosh! So they were able to like CG that, or just
they were able to take
actors, or
no, I don't. So maybe I'm off by that. I could be wrong, and maybe they didn't change the Halloween costume or whatever. But I know
they took the guns out at least.
I do know they took the guns out at least of the remastered version because they didn't think it appropriate that kids were going out with guns.
Yeah,
even if they were fake.
Yeah, I remember watching this back in the day, and this is going to be a little spoilery, but can we presume people have seen this, or should we?
I'd like to.
Yeah. Like
we put the warning in the beginning that there could be spoilers.
Yeah, there could be. So, there's a pretty good portion of the film at the end there where it looks like E.T.'s dead. And as a kid watching this, I was like so upset that I told myself, okay, because I had already decided by that. But when did it come out?
82.
So I was 11. I think I had already decided that I was okay if movies had sad endings, because not everything has to be a happy ending. But when I was watching this, I was like, no, if he dies, I'm never watching this again. This sucks. So it was such a relief when you see the glow and everything. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, and what's so odd about that too is you talk about like it's kind of a first instance of a child having to deal with the death of a character, even though it doesn't come to fruition and he does survive.
He thinks so, though.
Oh yeah, but only 4 years later, Transformers the movie comes out, and it is the first time a character is killed off in a kid's movie and stays dead.
Right.
Because by the end of that movie, we lose Optimus Prime, which destroyed so many kids at that point because Optimus was their hero throughout the entire run of the Transformers. And and by the movie, he's killed off and he does not come back. So, but yeah, that's an interesting take on it about like having to deal with death for the first time.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't leave him dead. I think this kind of a movie needs the ending that it got.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it wouldn't be I don't think you would have it on your list if E.T. had just been dead.
No, it would be a completely different film.
Yeah.
I think it would have gone the way of Mac and Me.
I don't think I saw that, but
oh, you're better off. You're so better off. It was basically an ET ripoff. That
I remember something about it. Yeah,
it became a running joke that anytime Paul Rudd was on Conan O'Brien, and he came on and he said he had a clip of whatever movie he was promoting, it was just a clip of Mac and Me. And he did that for probably like a good 10 years. Like he did it for Anchorman, he did it for This Is 40, he did it for Avengers, he did it for Ant-Man. Like every time he would go on, he would just show a clip of Mac and Me. And it became a running joke and it was hysterical. So That brings us to our number ones of most essential movies we feel people should see. I'm curious. I'm trying to figure out what yours might be, and I don't know what's your number one.
It's Transformers the movie. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually don't know if I think this is the most out of this list. I didn't necessarily put them in the order of like least to most essential, but the one I have left to talk about is Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh,
which
God.
You may want to just call Fury Road. That's fine. We can just call it Fury
No,
Road.
it's all fairness. It's your choice. I'm not going to criticize, and because I mean I do agree it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
My issue is more just with the title and not with the movie itself.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Ben and I have talked about this before, and you just point out it's not really a Mad Max movie.
That's my thought on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, well, first off, 2015, directed by George Miller, who was 70 when it came out, and he co-wrote it. And almost all my movies were at least written or co-written by the director, which I thought was interesting. But it's Charlize Theron as Imperator Furiosa, Tom Hardy as Max Rokitansky, Nicholas Hoult as Nux, and Hugh Keys Byrne as the villain, Immortan Joe, which is interesting because he also played the villain in the original Mad Max movie. But one of the things I do like about this movie is that it subverts expectations. And these days, subverting expectations among many quarters is almost like an insult. But for me, watching this movie, like Max fails to escape the bad guys in the beginning and gets captured. And then we don't see him for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, what? what is going on here? What happened to the hero? And then when he comes back, he's strapped to a car with this metal mask covering his face and blood being drawn out of his arm, and he's not escaping. And it really is Furiosa's movie.
And that's
Mad Max is
really
more like her sidekick. Yeah. And I love that because I wasn't expecting it, and it was good. I mean, it has to be good. If you subvert my expectations and it's not good, then I don't care. But if it's good, then I almost appreciate it more sometimes.
Yeah. But no, that's more of the point I was making when it comes to why I don't feel like it is a Mad Max movie, is because it is Furiosa's movie. It's not his movie. Yeah,
I get that. But if they hadn't called it Mad Max, I'm not trying to say that you should have a different opinion, but for me, if they hadn't called it Mad Max, then it wouldn't be subverted expectations, because it would have been called Furiosa, and then I would have, but in other ways too, like you might think this is a negative, but I think Tom Hardy, as he played Mad Max in this movie, had almost zero charisma. Especially definitely not anywhere near Mel Gibson's level of charisma.
No.
But he had a tense relationship with Furiosa, and it seemed even more tense because of the way he played it, which was very straight and intense. And so when they did have any moments of connection or cooperation, it felt more like a big deal to me than just some like quippy movie. It felt like more moving or something. But it
made more of an impact.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
made more of an impact. But I also like that as far as subverting expectations, in most post-apocalyptic movies, things are like faded and washed out or dark, but this was like lush and rich colors. And I mean, it was a limited color palette, but it was very vivid and intensely colored. And the orange desert and the blue sky and deep red explosions everywhere. And also the action. That's like the main. I mean, the story was really simple, which I liked, but it was also you felt connected to the characters, especially Furiosa and all the women that she was helping escape. So it was a good story, even though it was simple, but the action was just incredible. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was so blown away by the action. And I think you're going to do a car chase episode of Wilhelm.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. This would be my top car chase movie
of car chase movies.
If you can count this one.
I think you could count it. I mean, there's definitely a lot of cars and they're chasing one particular car.
And I was just so happy to discover a movie. Like when I first saw it, I was like, can I have this as one of my favorite movies when I've just seen it and haven't had time to sit with it? But it's been 6 years ago now, believe it or not. But I quickly decided, I know, yes, I think this is my favorite action movie of all time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I know this is the one probably that you and I agree on the least. That's fine.
No, I don't want to say we agree on this the least. Again, my only really issue with the movie is the title itself. And the fact that I kind of think Tom Hardy's a little overrated. But I mean, other than that, I agree with you. The movie is very vivid. The story is very simple but easy to follow, which is good. And the action is amazing. I mean, as much as I say I have an issue with it not being a Mad Max movie, I would still absolutely highly recommend this movie that
people watch it. Yeah.
That people watch it. Yeah.
It's just there's so many great moments. The water coming off of where Morton Joe is and everybody holding up their plates, or when they get to the really creepy area where people, like, it's all misty and there's birds chirp like crows. It's just like a work of art, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely see that. So,
okay.
No, that's a good choice.
Thank you.
All right. So my number one, I went with the classic from 2011, The Smurfs. No, I'm just kidding. I am totally kidding. No, I tried to avoid movies that are some of my favorite movies, but I couldn't avoid this one. Not only do I think this is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I think it is absolutely essential for anybody to see. I went with 1994's The Shawshank Redemption.
Great.
For my number one. It is my favorite movie of all time. And I don't think any movie has ever come close to topping it. Because of how perfect I think this movie is. You combine, directing from Frank Darabont, who we know did The Walking Dead when The Walking Dead first started in the first season. Combined with the cast of Morgan Freeman playing Red, Tim Robbins as Andy Dufresne, William Sadler, Clancy Brown, an amazing cast written by, I think, somebody who you and I would arguably say is one of the greatest storytellers of all time in Stephen King. It started out, it was one of his short stories, Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, turned into a full-length feature.
I read that before the movie came out.
Did you? I didn't read it until after the movie had already come out. But you talk about an amazing story that keeps you gripped and it keeps your attention the entire time with an ending that you didn't see coming until all the pieces are laid out in front of you and shown to you.
The best endings are the ones that are surprising and yet seem inevitable in hindsight.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those movies that, I guess kind of along the lines of The Sixth Sense is like all the pieces are there, but you're not seeing them right away until the end, when you see the end, you see the puzzle completed, and then they reveal all the pieces.
Right.
And even rewatching it, it still astounds me that I'll rewatch the movie and I'll be like, yep, okay, like I know what's coming. But even knowing what's coming, I still love this movie. I adore this movie. It's one of those ones. Yeah, it's one of those ones I'll never get tired of watching.
I actually have not. I don't think I've seen this movie since it came out, which is crazy because I loved it, but I need to watch it again. Maybe this is one of those ones that I was afraid wouldn't hold up, but clearly it does.
Yeah, I watched it. Again, it's one of those ones that kind of, like I mentioned with Fight Club, where I won't watch it constantly because I want it to still be impactful whenever I watch it. So I probably haven't watched it in about 2 years. But maybe like every 3 or 4 years, I'll give the movie a watch. And it holds up every time. I mean, again, no movie has come close to topping it as my favorite movie of all time.
That's good. It feels good that you got to have this be your number one essential movie on your inaugural Wilhelm podcast episode.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird it'd be weird if I said like it's my favorite movie of all time. It's Twilight. Everybody should see this movie.
Yeah, or you're like, I don't really like Twilight, but this is my number one essential movie.
But it's my number one. It's the movies that everybody should watch.
I do get what you were kind of saying about like you want to make sure like there's some movies that I really like, but I wouldn't put on this list, right? And so, but this is one that it's one of your personal favorites, and you also feel like
I feel like it's a movie that everybody should see at some point. Yeah. Exactly.
Tim Robbins I love him. The Player, I really liked him. Did you see that? Robert Altman?
No, I don't think I have.
It's all about Hollywood, and Robert Altman makes movies in a particular way. Well, he did Popeye, of course, right?
Yeah.
And where he lets people improv and talk in the background, and it's got a lot of cameos, and it's a great movie. I would recommend you watch that, The Player. And then this movie also makes me think of another one of my favorites that's like it, because it's based on a Stephen King short story, and that's Stand By Me, which is another one I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm afraid whether it'll hold up or not.
It's been a while since I've seen that one too.
Yeah,
it's been a while. I mean, I do remember loving that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Sick
another
balls,
one.
Chopper.
I mean, you talk about Tim Robbins as well. I mean, another movie that he did that I love, which I don't think holds up nearly as much as Shawshank or some of the other movies we've mentioned, but The Hudsucker Proxy.
It's another Coen Brothers.
It's another Coen Brothers movie, yeah, that I love. It's one that I will watch if I have the opportunity.
I remember him being great in Bull Durham too.
Bull Durham is really good, yeah. Oh God, what are some Mystic River? He was really good in. So
it's good.
I'll do a Tim Robbins episode eventually. So
we didn't have any Marvel movies. Do you have a favorite?
So if I were to put any Marvel movie in an essential watch,
for me, I think it would be Guardians.
Guardians is up there. I think maybe Winter Soldier. It's
a great one.
Might be pretty high up there. Black Panther would also be pretty high. And Infinity War and Endgame together.
Yeah. Those, I guess, if you're able to put those together, they so captured the big comic book event in movie format, and I love those movies. I
think if you were to add them to an essential list, I don't think you could separate them, because you kind of need the payoff.
Yeah, it's part 1 and part 2.
To me, they're essentially the same movie. It's just part 1 and part 2. Yeah.
And it's like a 7-hour movie, but oh well.
Yeah, exactly. So let's dive into some honorable mentions, because I'm sure we both still have a couple.
Yes.
That got skirted off. What's some of the honorable mentions that you have that you would recommend to people?
Well, Karate Kid is the one that hurt me the most not to put on this list, because it's one of my favorite movies, and Cobra Kai. But I've like Breakfast Club and Karate Kid on the same list. I can't do that. But I just love that movie so much. E.T., Pulp Fiction is a big one.
Pulp Fiction's a good one, yeah.
I feel like that owes a lot to 70s movies that Tarantino loved, but maybe that doesn't matter. I still feel like it's pretty essential. The Matrix.
Matrix is one of my one of my honorable mentions as well. Yep.
Night of the Living Dead, Princess Bride, Groundhog Day is one that I love. Swingers, I love that movie. Evil Dead 2, Boyhood, which was Richard Linklater.
Yeah,
filmed over 12 years.
Great movie.
So good. If you guys don't know, who are listening to me, you should watch that. It's this movie that he filmed over 12 years with this young actor who we saw grow up in the movie. Literally, it was really cool. Baby Driver is on there, Royal Tenenbaums, and just I could just probably come up with a list 100 movies long, but those are the ones I put down.
Yeah, I don't have nearly as many honorable mentions, but that's fine. I have so Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope was definitely one. The Matrix is one. Citizen Kane, which we mentioned at the top of the episode, is one. Absolutely, I put Apocalypse Now is definitely an essential. I feel people should watch. And
that's one of the ones that's on a lot of lists too.
The Godfather is also on a lot of those lists. 2001: A Space Odyssey is on a lot of those lists, which I agree with.
I dare anyone to try and find a list of essential films that Godfather is not on.
I know it's. And if you put Godfather 1 on, you usually have to put Godfather 2 as well. because in my opinion, The Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1.
Right. And I don't know if this is right, but it feels to me like 50% of the lists will have that swapped. So it's like half and half.
Yeah. The only other two I can think of off the top of my head, Die Hard is one I feel is an essential watch for anybody who's a fan of action movies.
Yeah.
Die Hard is pretty much the bar that I put most other action movies at. That, you know,
yeah. It's funny too. It's like Mad Max Fury Road was for me. Die Hard 2. When you're watching it, you're like, wow, this is really good. But years later, when you realize how big of a movie it's become, you're like, oh wow, I should have known that. I don't know. You can't know in the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Or it reminds me of when I was working in a movie theater and Dances with Wolves came out, which was good. I liked it. And Goodfellas came out the same year, and Dances with Wolves won the Oscar. And now everyone would probably agree, not everyone, but most people would agree Goodfellas is the movie that probably should have gotten the Oscar. So sometimes they get it wrong in the moment, you know?
Oh yeah. And I can't remember. Oh yeah. I had a similar experience. I remember, I go to a lot of advanced movie screenings, or at least I did before the pandemic hit when they were still having them. Mm-hmm. And I remember they were having two screenings at the same theater, and I had my choice of which one I wanted to go see. And it was either there was some big budget action movie coming out, or it was Hell or High Water with Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges. And I was like, I want to see Hell or High Water. Like, I don't need to see this big budget thing. I can go see that myself. Hell or High Water is more interesting to me. And then that big budget movie flopped in theaters, and Hell or High Water got like critical acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yep, I made the right choice on that one to go see Hell or High Water instead. Which, yep, I mean, it wouldn't be on my top list, but that's a movie I would definitely recommend to people.
And I like The Matrix is another one I saw and thought, wow, this seems really special. But I guess I didn't know, you know, in the moment that this is going to be an iconic movie going forward, a big deal. Yeah. I guess you just can't really know that in the moment. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you told me, you know, in 99, when The Matrix came out, that in 2021, we were still going to be getting another Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Like, that would be ridiculous to me.
Star Wars, you knew, because people were getting married in line.
Yeah, that's very true.
To see Star Wars. That was when you knew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Star Wars I think that was appropriate for us to start with.
Yeah.
You know, when we did this list, because it's a quintessential film that people should see.
Yeah.
At some point in their life. The only other one I have too that I haven't mentioned is Toy Story from 1995.
It's great.
You know, it's a great animated movie. Again, like E.T., it's got a ton of heart, and it really changed the future of animation. It was Pixar's first film, and now we're seeing a Pixar film every year. At this, I think, pretty close to it, if not. I mean, and Pixar is one of those companies that I can't wait till we get to the Pixar episode of Wilhelm, because in my opinion, they really haven't failed yet.
Yeah,
I can't
they're
think
amazing.
I can't think of a Pixar movie I didn't like.
Yeah, there are a couple I didn't like as well, but there's so many. They're almost all I like almost all of them so much, and they're just so good. Wally's up there for me. Incredibles, Ratatouille, those are some of my favorites.
Yeah, the entire Toy Story film series from 1 through 4. I was one of those people.
Go ahead.
What was that?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I was one of those people that didn't think we needed a Toy Story 4 until I saw Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm glad we got this.
I liked it too, but Toy Story 3 at the end there, when they're going into the thing, I was like, oh.
I was the same exact way. I know, like, they're in the incinerator and they're circling the flame, and I'm like, they can't die. They can't die. Like, they're gonna die.
Funny.
You
Pixar,
know full well they're not gonna die.
You know, that started out as just a tech company where they were making, I think, you know, 3D rendering software, and Steve Jobs, he was the CEO of that, and Apple at the same time. And from what I've read, he almost tried to just put an end to the whole animation side of it. And so they started making these short films and entering them into film competitions, and they would win. And so he's like, okay, all right, keep going with that, see where it goes. So it was touch and go there for a while.
But look at the company now. I mean,
well, he sold it to Disney for like $4 billion or something.
Yeah, and hugely successful. They've made their money back and then some.
Yeah.
So
they're really good.
So that was a good choice. No, this was a cool conversation. I'm glad this was fun for the first episode.
Oh, good.
So
I hope so. I'm
glad. I did too, and I appreciate you coming on. And this was
it's kind of cool that we didn't have any repeats on our lists.
Yeah, that's I hope that happens a lot, but I'm sure it won't.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's definitely going to be repeats because, as you said, I've got a ton of I got a ton of themes and film franchises that we're going to be doing over the course of the show. And
what are a couple that you're excited about, if you don't mind my asking?
So I'm excited about doing the Edgar Wright episode because we talked a little bit about Edgar Wright earlier on. I'm excited to dive into the Back to the Future franchise at some point. I haven't decided who I'm doing that one with yet because that's one that's very close to
yourself
me.
And have yourself be your own co-host.
I need to just ask record myself asking a question and then record myself answering it. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm looking forward into. I think it's an episode that you're going to be coming back for at some point in the future, but the Robin Williams episode, when we dive into some of the top our favorite Robin Williams movies. Looking forward to diving into like Tom Hanks and his career. One episode I just recently thought of that is going to be a rough one, but I want to talk about like our top saddest moments in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Moments that just kind of broke us.
I heard you. We play online games, and Ben mentioned that, and you're like, I need to find someone who's emotionally stable to co-host that one with me.
Yes, I need someone who, after that episode, isn't just going to curl up in a ball and hide from the world for a week. After we,
it's a good idea though, because I always say I really love when I feel moved watching something. Even if it's sad, it's if it impacts me in that way, then I usually love it.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Pixar, but Up. I mean, the beginning of that movie.
It made me love the rest of the whole movie, even though the rest did not measure up to me. It was still fine, but just because of that first 15 minutes, I think that's a great movie.
Yeah, like you wrecked me in the first 10 minutes. What do you got? How are you going to fix it for the rest of the movie? So I mentioned at the top, you're a fellow podcaster like myself. I can't go without letting you plug what you're doing. Where can people, what have you got going on? Where can people hear you? Let them know.
Yeah. So I have the Podcastica podcast network, and I'm on 2 of those shows right now. One is the Walking Deadcast, where we're covering Fear the Walking Dead, which is a shitty show. But we have a lot of fun.
You're devoted. You're still covering.
I'm devoted, at least to the rest of the season. And we have a lot of fun with it. And we'll also be covering the Walking Dead, which we have since the show started back in 2010. And we'll be wrapping up at the end of 2022. So, and during the off season, we do some horror movies and different things that are really fun. And then I'm also on House Podcastica, where we cover a whole bunch of different shows, Mandalorian, Cobra Kai, Westworld, and right now we're doing Handmaid's Tale. I've got Daphne and Wendy on there with me, and that's an intense show, but it's really, really well done, and we're having a good time covering that, and just trying to treat it respectfully, and we're getting a lot of great feedback, so that's cool. And you can find all of that at podcastica.com. And another podcast on there is yours, which is a kind of a cross podcast with Ben's network and mine. We Have to Go Back Lost Revisited podcast, which I do with Kristen, and we talk about Lost every week, and we kind of decided from the beginning that was going to be a little bit of a meld of both of our networks, and so far it's worked out pretty well. I mean, I send people over there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and we send people to Podcastica too, so it works out. So I mean, if you like what you hear on this program, whether it be this episode or the future, Be sure to leave a review of the show on whatever podcasting platform that you're listening on. The more reviews we get, the more people we can reach as far as an audience goes. Also, be sure to follow Wilhelm on social media, facebook.com/the Wilhelm podcast, and at the Wilhelm pod on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, if you want to be a guest or you have an idea for a topic you want us to discuss, a film franchise you want to hear us cover, a film you want us to take a deep dive into, a debate you want us to settle, just let us know by messaging me at any of the platforms I mentioned before, or you can email me directly at thewilhelmpodcast@gmail.com. I think that's it. This was I'm happy with this being the first episode of the podcast.
Yeah, it was great.
Incredibly happy.
Thank you, Ben. That was great.
Yeah. And you'll definitely be back.
Yeah.
So
Robin Williams, and there's another one.
I think Steve Martin was the other one
yes.
we were going to do.
Look forward to that.
We were going to do as well. So people will be hearing your voice again in the future. I'm looking forward to this podcast. I hope everybody sticks with it and follows along. Tell your friends about it. But until next time, thank you guys for listening. This has been Wilhelm, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.